Well, welcome to another fishing adventure, folks. As you can see, I am not on the bank. Getting a little out of my comfort zone here. I've been kayak fishing many times, but it's been probably 4 or 5 years since I've put this kayak in the water. So I'm out doing it today. Today's mission is mainly for scouting and just to refresh my memory about all the things that are different from kayak fishing versus fishing on the bank. Just gotta rebuild that memory because it's been a while. I don't think I forgot anything yet. Don't really need that much, I guess. But scouting and also and of course, you know, I've got fishing rods here. I'm gonna do some fishing too. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm planning on spending the whole afternoon, probably till dark. So looking at probably about 7 hours here in this little plastic boat. And this is a new lake that I've never fished before. And I've had this on my list for several years. Been wanting to take the kayak out here because it's really the only way to fish this lake. There's no bank access. As you can see, you know, it's just all forested on both sides, and it's steep cliffs, 30, 40 feet steep banks all the way down to the water's edge. This is an old mining pit. This is a long, narrow mining pit. It's probably about 100 yards wide and I don't know, 3/4 of a mile long maybe. And as you may have surmised by all the trees along the bank, there are lots of trees down in the water near the shoreline. That's going to be a challenge I'm going to have to figure out. As you can see, there's just all over and down in the water, just everywhere. Being a gravel pit that doesn't really get a ton of agricultural runoff, the water quality here is better than average for Iowa. Not great, but better than average. That's another one of the reasons why I wanted to come here, because it just stinks trying to kayak fish in some scummy green water that smells bad. It's just no fun. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just paddling along this bank here, and I'm looking for places where I could potentially tie up on the bank and fish. If there are any like little spots where I could get out and stand on the bank, that would be sweet, but I'm not expecting that at all. That seems very unlikely how steep it is over here. But I'm gonna go up the lake on this side and explore, see what I can see. I've got sonar mapping too on my phone. I've got my Garmin fish finder there. I brought it and I brought the battery, but apparently the battery was not charged because fish finder will turn on briefly and then turn off. So I guess the battery's not charged. That's okay. I do have the sonar map on my phone, so that'll give me a good clue. This gets pretty deep here, 25 feet out in the middle. It goes just like on the sides of the bank. It goes real steep down in the water too, down to the bottom, and it's pretty flat in the bottom. It's just like I said, it's just an old mining pit. And old, by old I mean like I think it's really old. Like they mined this stuff to use for building railroad, like, you know, back in the 18 whatevers. Yeah, I just got the navionics on my phone here so I can track myself as I move. And yeah, right here I'm in 15 feet of water. This is that ledge right there. The white is the deepest stuff. There's a pin there that I put there. There's a little hump right there, and that's where I want to go potentially throw some bait. There's a little hump over here too I might check out, but that's where I'm going to start. Back in the back there I've got a bucket of cattle cubes, and the plan is to throw out some cubes as I pass by these couple of spots that I think I want to fish, and then I'll come back and I'll, you know, keep going all the way down here as far as I want to go, and then I'll come back and fish it a little bit later. All right, so that first little hump there is directly out from where I am right here. And the plan is I want to anchor up, maybe tie off to a tree over here, and then cast over there to the hump. But I got to get over to the hump to dump the bait. Going to the hump to take a dump. All right. It's pretty good right there. Yeah. All right. Score one for Tom. Yeah, I'm pretty much right next to the hump. It's kind of off to my left a little bit here. Nothing fancy. Just gonna chuck them. Chucking them overboard. A little over here, a little over there. Oh, and I should drop a marker there. Perfect. A little here, a little there, a little everywhere. Yes, it would be easier if I had an electric trolling motor on this little boat. But then I would have to register it, this little boat, and it wouldn't be as fun. I like paddling. It's good exercise, it's nice and quiet, don't have to fool around with the battery. That's about half the bucket. I'm gonna go over here now and scope out a place to tie off. So I think this is where I'm going to fish from. Over here, there is a little bit of a gravelly area. It's underwater, but only about a foot, where I could stand and get out of the kayak and deal with the fish if need be, if I need to get out. And I suppose I could just drive a stake in the ground and fish right here. There's enough room up there I could cast from here. So yeah, this is going to be the spot. I'm gonna go ahead and put a marker on this spot on the sonar also. All right, that's good enough for this. On to the next spot. This is looking real carpy back here. Ooh, there's a spot right here. Grass. Look at the grass. That's a spot. That is a good place to access to the bank right there. Water's a little warmer over here than it was over in the wider part of the lake. There's bass swimming around in the shallows all over the place. Little 8-inch bass. Here's where I am. I'm right in between two deep spots here, and there is just a little bit of a I wouldn't call it a shelf, but instead of going straight down to 20 feet, it goes a little bit more gradual. I think I'm going to put some bait out here, just in this area here. It's kind of a hump. There's still quite a ways to go down that way to explore, but it gets narrower that way. This is about as narrow as I want to get. This hump is right even with that grassy area that I was just at over there. Grass right next to the water. That's where I'm going to fish from. I'm going to drop my bait right out here. And that's going to be around 11-12 feet of water there. That's where I'm going to put the bait. That's where I'm going to fish. Right here. Off you go. Gotta throw them downwind, otherwise I'll get that dust in my face. You know what? I'm actually gonna bait all the way across, because this little section here is only about 50 yards wide. And I'm just gonna bait a little bit over here on this part where I'm not gonna fish, just to hopefully maybe, if there are some fish patrolling this other bank, that get their attention, get them to follow this bait, this scent trail over to the main baited spot back over there. There's some nice shade over there behind me. It's tempting to go sit in that shade back there. Okay. This is a 3-gallon bucket, I believe. All right, I'm gonna leave this spot to marinate for a little while, and I'll head up the lake, leaving fire. It looks really gnarly up here. A little shallower and a lot more trees in the water because it's narrower. I don't know what the spawning situation is in this lake for the carp. Actually, I'm not even 100% sure there's carp in here. Haven't seen any. Don't know any of anybody who's fished it or bow fished it or anything. But the carp are kind of everywhere, so I'm sure there's a few. Oh, I just remembered what I forgot. Forgot to put sunscreen on my lips. I got sunscreen on my face, but not the lips. Okay. Sunburned lips in my future, probably. Yeah, I can just go like this. That'll work. Oh, look what I found. A little island. That's pretty spiffy. Little grassy island. You see it? Yeah, I just knew this forested lake was going to have all sorts of interesting things to try. I've already found at least a half a dozen places I want to fish on different times when I come back. But yeah, little island that's probably, I don't know, 15 yards off the shore. There's water in between the island and the main shoreline. This is pretty cool. Be fun to paddle out to this little place and get out of the kayak. I suppose I could bring a clippers and chow down some of those thistles that are growing on there. Yeah, just get up and check out this island a little bit, get out of the kayak seat for a few minutes. Lots of thistles here. Need to chop them down if I want to do some bank fishing here, but this would absolutely work. Because sitting in that kayak for hours is not always the best. Alright, that's enough island life. I'm going to head up into the uber shallows. Let's see what I can find. I think I might come back to this island. Phew, that mud smells bad. Yes. Yes. I just saw, it was a grass carp. It was a huge grass carp that was just hanging out in the shallows just to the left of me. And it took off. It got scared. That was a big grass carp. I could just tell by the long torpedo shape. I'm way up here in the upper reaches of the lake. It's getting really narrow. It's probably only 30 yards across now. As far as the depth, I don't know. 3 feet deep maybe. Yeah. I don't know, what do you think? Should I fish up here in this super shallow, scuzzy looking stuff? I'm sure there's a few fish in here. It's the middle of the day though. There's lots of life up here though. It's teeming with fish. I see tons and tons of bluegills and bass. There's a lot of weeds up here. What I'm looking for is a great big boil of a big old 30-pound carp getting spooked. I'm not seeing anything like that. It's just all calm. I love exploring new places, doing stuff like this. Just every time you turn your head, it's something new to look at, something interesting. All right, I'm getting up into the nitty-gritty here. It's getting real narrow, so probably only about 15 feet wide, this little spot that I'm going to pass through. I don't want to go much farther than this because I don't want to get stuck and have to get out and sink to my knees in mud. I can already tell there's nowhere up this way I want to fish, so I think that's going to be time to turn around. Let's go back down to the island, and yeah, I don't know if I'm going to fish off that island or go back down farther to that grassy cottonwood spot. I could do both. How about both? I'll spend an hour at the first place and then move on after that. Let's try that. And when I get to the island spot and get out, I'll go through some of my gear here. I'm sure some of you are curious. Just kind of, I'll go around, show you my setup, show you what I've got along with me. Okay, I am on the island. Gonna do a little fishing here. Gonna get baited up and yeah, corn. Gonna fish with some sweet almond. And after I get the baits in the water, then I'll do that little review of the kayak and the stuff for you here. The bait and rig is just all the usual stuff that I always use. Nothing special for kayak fishing. Oats, sweet feed, can of corn, and some chili powder in there. Pack this around this 3-ounce feeder sinker. Alright, baits in the water here. Got 3 of them. There's some guys in a bass boat down there, but I don't think that's a big full-size boat. I don't think hopefully they're not going to try and come all the way up here in the sticks where I am. Okay, that was about 5-6 feet of water there. Yeah, it's good that I didn't go to that cottonwood spot, because they're sitting right there jigging on a sunken log there. Okay, good choice, Tom. Just gonna hang out here with my kayak beached and just use the rod holders in the kayak, and I'll probably sit in the chair here in a minute. It's nice to stand up though. I can't stand sitting for hours and hours. Much shallower over there. 3 feet of water probably. Alright, so as promised, here's my fishing kayak tour. This is an Old Town Sportsman 12-foot long fishing kayak. And let's see. Got a little Garmin there, just a little fish finder there. I don't really use it very much. Rides on these tracks here. One rod holder here, one rod holder there. Those are both Scotty brand. I like those. Work pretty good on the tracks. There's the inflatable life vest right there, must have. Comfy removable seat on this Old Town kayak. Oh yeah, these strings here, this is a anchor trolley that I installed, and it was a huge waste of time. I've never used it. I don't recommend wasting your time with it unless you have a specific purpose for it. A couple of cleats that I install on both sides. I use those a lot. Those for tying off to sticks or land or whatever. Speaking of tying off, here's my stake. It's just like a 4-foot long garden stake with a little floaty and a handle and a cord attached to it. And I'll just pull up next to the shoreline, stab this in the ground right next to my kayak here like that, and then use this string here and wrap it in there, and it just keeps me tied to wherever I want to be tied to. Works pretty slick. And then I got one of these clampy things that's kind of does the same thing. This is just like a grabber thing that I can clamp onto a log or something like that with a string attached, and I can tie off using that. Like that one too. That one just lives under the seat. Just a cooler, some water, and a wrap, a little food for later. Anchor, never use that. Probably should just get that out of here. Anchor rope. Anchoring, I don't like anchoring with kayak. I'll probably just get rid of that thing. Small tackle bag with just a few things. The pack bait, obviously. There's my little tackle box with my hooks and things. Hook bait. A few little simple things in here. like sunscreen and bug spray, just simple stuff. Don't bring a lot for kayak fishing. There's the bucket that you saw earlier. It's empty now. Paddle. It's my rear camera. It's on it's like a light pole for boats, and it's supposed to plug it into boats. But anyway, I've just got that plugged in, the cord wrapped around, and just goes down to this portable battery bank. Just stays plugged in, runs all the time. Don't have to change out the batteries or whatever. And that pole goes into a little piece of PVC that I've fastened to my crate here. And that just stays there. Gives you the rear view for cameras. Front camera is on one of these like clampy things. I just have it clamped to the handle on the front of the kayak, and it's just kind of a gooseneck kind of flexible thing you can move around. And that camera's malfunctioning. I don't know if we're going to get any more footage off of that one today. And an umbrella. I like to bring in an umbrella for kayak fishing, especially when there's no shade, like right here. Just got to have some shade. Sunscreen and clothing is nice and all, but it doesn't really keep you cool like shade does. Last but not least, yes, I did bring a net. Pretty nice big net. I can fit I've caught 20+ pound carp in this net, no problem. This is a really lightweight, extendable net. Maybe. Yeah, this is that Drifter Marine brand net that's in the description. I don't think they make it anymore. I've got like 3 of them, and I've bought them over the years, and it's been quite a few years since I've bought one. I don't think they make them anymore, but Fleet Farm is where I got it. That's about it. That's my fishing kayak. Not too complicated. I know lots of people have some pretty complicated kayaks that work for specific circumstances. Mine's pretty simple. But now it's just a sit and wait thing. I got 3 lines out, and what do we got here? 4 o'clock. I'm gonna give this spot 1 hour. I'm gonna give this spot 1 hour. Probably rebait after a half an hour. Let's see what happens. Bass boat guys turned around and headed back. So after an hour, I'll head down to that one of those spots that I baited earlier, and I'll just make that the spot where I'm gonna my final spot for sitting for the evening. It'll be one of those places where I threw out the cubes earlier. Nothing doing at the island spot. Didn't have any bites, obviously, but didn't even see any activity, any surface activity, anything. This place seems pretty dead. Moving down, not sure if I'm gonna go to the cottonwood spot or down to that hump that I baited. See when I get there. Totally reeks like pesticide right now. I know on the other side of these trees over here, there are farm fields. Just really strong. They must be spraying over there. Don't like that. That's some toxic crap right there. Well, this is the spot that I baited. It's not the first hump, it's the second spot that I baited. And it looks like I can get out here. Probably turn the kayak to point it at the area where I want to fish. That's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what, these Old Town kayaks are so stable. I had a different kind of kayak before this that was so tippy, really difficult to get out of. But this one, so stable, easy to stand up in. Alright, that'll work. We got the back end up. Got the nose pointed out where I want to fish. That'll work. Just going to keep the same corn that I've been using and put some new pack bait on, and out they go. Hopefully all this hard work pays off. This has been a lot of work today. Yeah, there was a pretty significant surface splash right out where I dumped a bunch of cubes here earlier. Oh, there's some more activity on the surface. Nice. That's right out there. It doesn't mean it's carp. It could be a lot of things. very tight back here. Here's my cast. Here's where I'm casting. I'm holding them up above the short trees here. I'm afraid to say it. Well, I'm not afraid to say it, but I'm afraid it might, this disturbance over there, it might be spawning carp. I saw a couple fins poke up out of the water, and it looks like there's a group of fish just kind of scraping up on the surface, like probably at least half a dozen fish, all kind of in a general spot. That's carp spawn stuff. They should be done. Dang it. Here's what I packed for my lunch. It's a wrap in foil. Inside the wrap is chicken and spinach and what else? Cheese, red onion, some kind of dressing. Very simple. Just a chicken wrap. Okay, dinner is complete. I'm just waiting for that 30-pound fish. Oh, there was a splash out there. I think they're spawning over there. I wish I could zoom in to show you. You know, I just wanted to say one thing. For those of you who maybe that don't live in the Midwest or never been to Iowa, and you see me in places like this that seems like it's forested, there's trees around, stuff like that. It's just a thin veneer is what it is. This lake is surrounded by trees, but it's just a very thin layer of trees, maybe 25, 30 yards deep. And then outside of that, it's all open fields. On the other side of those trees, there's a road. You can hear a truck going by right now. And then just open fields as far as you can see after that. So there really aren't any forests in Iowa, at least not in the northern part where I lived. Down in southern Iowa, when they get down close to Missouri, there are some forests down there. But yeah, it's all flat. Well, not completely flat, but it's all open farmland, 99% of the land. And anytime you see me in trees, it's just a thin veneer of trees and industrial agriculture beyond that. And that's why the strong smell of pesticides is purveying here today, because the wind is blowing from that direction. There's fields right on the other side of that road, 50 yards over there beyond those trees. Not sure how much longer. I was hoping that the wind would change direction maybe, or it would go away, but it's not going away. It's starting to bother me. Get a little bit of a irritated throat. I don't know how much longer I'm going to give it. It's 5:49. I'm going to say if the wind hasn't changed, or the smell hasn't gone away, or I haven't caught a fish, I'm going to reel them in and leave, because I'm just not going to breathe. I'm just not going to sit here all night and breathe that stuff. This is part of living in Iowa. I am constantly just changing my plans because of environmental things that I run into. Really nasty smells, or really nasty water. Just the farm equipment sometimes is in the way. I've gotten chased out of a fishing spot because some farmers were lighting a field on fire, and it kind of looked like it was a little sketchy, so I got the hell out of there so I wouldn't get burned up. Just agriculture dominates this area, and it really interferes with my fishing quite often. And its biggest impact is water quality. That's why the water quality is so bad here. They've always got a running list of beaches and lakes in the Iowa where it's recommended that you don't enter the water because of high levels of E. coli and other nasty bacteria that get in there from the cattle yards that are just everywhere. Also, we got crops, corn and beans, and cattle and pigs. All those things make a lot of pollutants that just really have an effect on the environment. All right, well, that's my speech about Iowa agriculture. Bring on the fish. Well, I've been watching these fish out here for the past hour and a half. They're spawning for sure. And I'm gonna go ahead and paddle up and get out of here. Come back in a couple of weeks, try this again. Got some good intel for next time for sure. Definitely I know where to go when I get here next time. So it was a good day. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you on the next one.